Hey there, welcome to First Glance with Jody Vance. Not your first glance with this company. The company is EarthRenew. The last time that Keith Driver and I had a conversation, I got so excited about the prospect of turning waste, literally turning, I was going to say it, but I don't want to get an E for expletive. So high performance livestock waste into high performance organic fertilizer. So literally making money off of poo. How about that? Making money. I love this idea. I love this company. I love your story mostly. So Keith, for somebody who doesn't have any idea what EarthRenew is about, stock symbol, by the way, ERTH, brilliant. A little history about your company before we get into your latest news.
Sure. So our core technology is we take livestock manures and we use waste heat from power generation facilities to thermally treat them. And that turns them into high performance organic fertilizers. And it's really kind of that simple. We then blend in a number of other additives, and that allows us to create soil health solutions for the organic and the regenerative agriculture market.
It's so brilliant because you can, the way you put it so effortlessly, and yet any of us who have ever been sort of, I wish I had a green thumb kind of gardener, knows the importance of the soil, knows the importance of feeding the plant, knows the importance of the fertilizer that you, how it's used, where you get it, what it comes from. And here at EarthRenew, you found this technology, you're creating some of what used to be a literally, and don't you power your plant by using the product?
Yeah, so we take the power that we use to generate to get the heat, and we use that to power the plant. So it's a pretty circular system. But it's interesting, I pick up on a theme. You mentioned feeding the plant, and regenerative agriculture is feeding the soil to feed the plant.
Right.
So if everybody's seen that Kiss the Ground movie, Harrelson on Netflix, and the soils are being depleted, and so the idea is regenerative agriculture. And it used to be just spray and pray, right? Lotions and potions grow, don't worry about the soil health. And now that's flipped on its head. And so we're really well positioned for that. And that's, you saw the note about our transaction to purchase Replenish. That's where that comes in, right? They've built a number of regenerative ag solutions off of our product platform. And so now we've got, we're going to hit eight-figure revenue this year, which for us is, fantastic. We're going to get to EBITDA positive, because we've got these soil solutions that are just adding more value through the supply chain. It's just really driving the business forward, and that's been really exciting for us.
How important is it as well for your product that you can travel across provincial and state lines with this?
So normally manures, when you go to the border, I mean, I guess most people wouldn't have had this experience, but if you show up at the border with manure, considered a specified risk material, you might as well be walking across the border with guns and ammo kind of thing. Like it's going to cause you some problems. But because we've thermally treated it and we now classify as a fertilizer, we have the ability to get that product across the border, and we actually sell about 25% of our product into North Dakota and Montana from the Alberta, Saskatchewan, a base here.
That's
and now we're looking at, that there's certain foreign exchange risks you take with cross-border that we need to build some capacity in the US. And we've announced that site in Colorado to mitigate that risk, but it's because there's demand. Like we're sold out. Like problems. We're going to be rolling out our development plans on our website now and the investor deck, but it just talks about us having to build out more capacity, go from 40,000 tons a year to 400,000 tons a year in the next 3 years, because we've tapped the right market vein, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. No, that's why I love a little gold mining analogy. Hitting it. You're hitting it at a time where it's needed, it's relevant, and investors are looking for, renewable and ethical and earth related, as you said, not spray and pray. We're all very concerned with where our food comes from and how it's grown and what is used, and frankly, how other things are disposed of, finding out a way a negative and turn it into a positive. And when you talk about going across the border, you want to know what I thought of? It's so funny, Keith, when you're saying that, it's kind of, you might as well be crossing the border with illegal weapons or whatever. We've all filled out the customs form that says, have you been to a farm? Do you know someone who's been to a farm? Like, no. So now we know.
That question's there for me. That's who they're trying to catch, is me when I'm going across the border.
It's Keith Driver.
I've been sitting in a pile of manure, working with it for a while, and now I'm trying to go across the border. But it is sort of timely. I think the market producers are worried about their soils. If you're a farmer, the soil is your asset, right? Yeah. Yes, you own the land, but the land is only as valuable as the production of that soil, and that. The sustainability of the family farm, if they're passing it off to the next generation, now is that moment of inflection where regenerative agriculture is sexy, if I may say that.
You may.
And for a good reason, because the Cargills, the General Mills of the world are demanding product through their supply chains that meets this regenerative piece. We're fully organic across the board. We got all our approvals. But we're priced at the point where conventional farmers can use us.
That's great.
So if you can't make it all the way to organic because that's too big a shift for your operation, regenerative is a philosophy, not a thing. So you can little steps. Yeah. They can use start building back the soil slowly. Don't bet the farm and trade it all like organic was, which where you have to go through all this process.
And you might take a huge hit in investing in that, where a lot of farmers, frankly, can't afford to make that big shift all at once without going belly up. I mean, that's the reality of the margins right now.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about farmers, they literally, and I pardon the pun, bet the farm every year.
Yeah.
For the crop at the end of the year. They can't afford to take big risks one year over another, but they know they have to take little steps, and they're taking, the science on farm is way more than we ever give credit for outside of the farming community. And so they're able to take these steps year over year. Well, yeah, I'll just use a different source of potash or NPK because it's got this other benefit to me. It's going to build back my soil. Right. I can make those little steps. And yeah, thanks to that, we've got a sales team that's now focused on fall product, and it's only April.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your first couple of months of revenue, because I think this is really exciting as well. Yeah. I got to reiterate, though, it's EarthRenew. The stock symbol is ERTH. We're speaking with Keith Driver, the CEO, who's infinitely available for your investment questions, of course. But you announced some really strong revenues for the 2 months of 2021.
Yeah, we announced the power production, and there was the big. Everybody heard about what happened in Texas where power prices spiked when it got really cold, but we had the same problem here in Alberta in a much smaller piece. And because we have a power generation side to our business, we thought it was worth saying, actually, we made a lot of money. What would have been a cost of goods sold, we actually our margin on power production is 78%.
Amazing. Holy.
Absolutely killing on our power production. I've
got a million farm puns. I was just about to say, holy cow. It works.
It's occupational hazard in our
You bring
business.
It out in people, though. You bring it out in me. You really, really do.
It is my mistake.
When it comes to acquisitions, though, there are notes about this as well. In the midst of acquisition of Replenish Nutrients, so you were planning on acquiring 38% of that, but that's changed.
Yeah, so that discussion started in September to simply market our products for us. And then we thought, okay, well, we started dating. And so now let's buy 38% of minority stake. There was a logic to why 38. And then 3 months ago, they came back to us and said, you know what, we'd be much better off as a joint entity. Let's just do this.
They proposed.
And so, they proposed. Yeah, it was sweet. It was a touching moment, but it really does make a ton of sense. And what we realized is for them to grow their business, they needed to vertically integrate into production. Right. And we, as a company, we produce fertilizers, ingredients, and they just package them and market them. So together we could grab much more margin through the value chain. And we've had a couple of projects that we'll be announcing shortly where that's really been the benefit, right? If they'd gone, they would have just been buying and blending, low value add, $50-$60 a ton margin. Whereas if we do it together, we're looking at $100 to $150 a ton margin, because the value to the farmer of a granulated product is so much higher because of the lower labor cost to them.
Yeah.
We grab so much more margin. And so the combined entity is, we're targeting the same gross margins as Nutrien and Mosaic, like in
Huge.
the regenerative space.
Yeah.
And that's
where you want to be.
World class. That's where we want to be.
That's where you want to. It's a marriage made in the barn.
Ooh,
I can't stop, Keith Driver. I guess if people want more information, how do they find you and reach out?
So email address is keith.driver@earthrenew.ca, or there's a contact through the website. By all means, I'm not very shy. So I'm happy to engage and answer any questions as the time goes. But really enjoy engaging on this topic. And as you can tell, I've got 1,000 stories about manure. So
so many fun farm puns. They're just outstanding. So ERTH is the stock symbol. EarthRenew, to sort of diversify your portfolio with something that's got a great story, great ethics, and potential for a massive future. Here's the story you're looking for. Always glad to have you on First Glance with Jody Vance. Please come back and visit us again soon with more great stories.
Anytime. Thanks a lot, Jody.
Cheers, pal.